Hey guys, it's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's like, it's just on the case. I'm always on the case. And I know you guys haven't seen me in a while, but I have to admit I am a human being and I do have a life. I do have things that I have to do. Just like you guys. I'm not a robot. I'm very much human. Um, we all have things in our life that we have to handle, everyday things. And I have some things for you guys. And I know some of you watch my channel and really want to hear what I have to say. No, I don't have any music. I don't have a, what do you call it, introduction song. I'm just on the case. So today I've got maybe 3 things that I want to talk about. But I just got off work, guys, so we're going to review these things, and I don't want to rush these things. I want to spend as much time as I can, and I want to be fair to you guys so you can get the information. So, who am I going to start off with first? I'm going to start with Madeline McCann. And because of that, if I say her name wrong, it's just because I'm from the country. And I mean the deep south. I am a Southern belle. And I cannot be misguided with anybody from the north. No offense. But, as I was saying, so right now, Madeline McCann's parents are trying to push a narrative. And this is my opinion and my opinion only. But you go figure it out. There's a detective who has been on this case since probably nearly the beginning. This detective is actually saying, and if you guys hear something that's snoring, it's my dog. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I can hear him very well. Anyway, that's how you know I'm a human being. What I was saying was, this detective is really serious about, I think, from my opinion, he must have saw something. And something led him to some evidence to believe that the McCanns are actually accountable and responsible for the disappearance or death of Madeline McCann. So he has been pushing this since day one. And my day one is whenever I figured out that he was pushing the narrative. So the McCanns have been busy trying to take this as far as they can to push the narrative that they had nothing to do with their daughter's death. Because I am saying this, it does not mean that I truly believe that they killed her or made her disappear. What I will say is that I believe that 2 things. Maybe 1, something happened and one parent might have covered it up. Is this my opinion? 2, somebody actually did kidnap her. But if that is the case, why is there no evidence towards kidnapping? Why is there so much evidence from dogs that there is a problem with the story? 3, how did we get to the point of a invasion at the house and a kidnapping when we have nothing to lead to that? Number 4, if you know just on the case, you know that I have done a John Bennett Ramsey case. And you know that I am going to point out the similarities if I have to. And that is what I'm about to do. The similarities between John Bennett Ramsey's case and Madeline McCann is they pushed the narrative that John Bennett was abducted, killed, and then put back in the house. Am I saying that I know that her parents did it? I'm not saying that. I'm just giving what I know, what I studied. For some reason, I can connect another person to these rings of cases, and that will be Casey Anthony. Her story was that the nanny did not give back Kaylee, I'm sorry. Kaylee and Casey. Kaylee is the baby. But there was evidence that Casey was lying. However, they were not able to prove her guilty without a shadow of a doubt. In our society, I am sorry, and this is my opinion, but our judicial system and every other system that we have can be better, way better. There are people who need to go to justice who did not go. Even if you don't have all of the information that you need to bring the person to justice, if you have any type of information that you can charge an individual with a crime, and you know there was some negligence, it should have been done. It should have been done. And not a little bit of time like, oh yeah, you get time served because you've been sitting in here. Most of these people that get time served, they really need a little bit of extra time added on. Because really they need to be charged with murder. But since they can't be charged with murder, but it looks like they might have something to do with what's going on, they need to be charged a little more. Like, I see a little bit conspiracy. I see a little something that you had something to do with this, but I can't prove it. But this is connecting you. So you have to do a little bit of time for the evidence that was received. That's how it should be. My problem is Casey Anthony, Madeline McCann, John Bonet. It was either a kidnap, a rape, a killing. Never, I'm sorry. It was my fault. I didn't check my back door. I didn't check this. I wasn't home. I am the responsible parent. I am the reason why Madeline is gone. Only thing I hear is, oh, I am responsible. I'm sorry. But we just thought that we were down the road, down the street, around, just right there on the corner, that nothing would happen. But the law does not tell you to be down the street, at the corner, or even blocks away from your child. It says children should be not left in their house alone. And I'm trying to figure out, how is it so hard for the courts to find them guilty on that? It was your negligence. Your negligence got her out here. We can't find her. We have no idea where she is. People are actually funding your account to find your daughter when it was your responsibility to make sure that this little girl was kept safe and comfortable. She cried out to you and said, why weren't you there when I cried? You had the nerve to get on TV and actually say what she said with a calm voice. The reason why my voice is getting a little bit louder is because I am a parent. I am 31 years old. I have 11-year-old. I am experienced with children. I try to go back and I try to think, Jess, when did you leave your child alone? What would be a good reason to leave your child alone? I can't come up with that. But I know as an American citizen, this has nothing to do with race, origin. I repeat, this has nothing to do with race, origin. As a parent, it is your responsibility as the adult to make an adult decision. You made an adult decision to leave two twins and a underage little girl at the house because you wanted to go down the street for drinks and food when you should have went to McDonald's and got some sandwiches, took the kids home, ate the cheeseburgers, and went to bed. If I don't have adequate child care. Why would I be outside of my home? You weren't in your yard. You were down the street. How is that right? We were down the street. We didn't think it was any problem. And we were down there checking on them every hour on the hour. How is that possible when the neighbor upstairs or on the side said she heard the little girl screaming and crying half of the night? If you were watching her and taking care of her like you were supposed to, nobody would have never heard her screaming. And if you were taking care of Madeline like you were supposed to, Madeline would have never asked you the day before, why didn't you come for her when she was crying? That is a sign of neglect to me. Because I have 11-year-old, I know how little kids talk. That is a sign of neglect because she warned you and you did not listen. Instead, you went out the next night and had a little ball while you have 3, not 1, 3 kids underage. Now, what if the twins would have strangled themselves off their slob or something while they were asleep? And you think because you're at this table down here, just a couple feet from the house, it's all right. But you go back and they dead. Y'all put 2 and 2 together. Please, put it together. Put it together. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous that no court found them guilty of child neglect, but let one of us regular people out here, like I said, has nothing to do with race. The people out here that are not doctors. Maybe you got one doctor in your home. Maybe the other person is a veterinarian. That's what I'm talking about. Normal people that don't have politics and all these other people on their side. Just normal people. If we got up and we were at a bar that's 2 seconds from our house, our kids are in the house, but we let them sleep in there, and we're out just doing what we want, having a little glass of wine, drinking, and we find out that one of our children has disappeared. First of all, you're going to shit your pants. Second, you're going to go into panic mode. Because if you can't find a trace of them, and you know what's in for you, you are going to get held accountable. You're going to the jailhouse because you neglected your child. Any other children you have will be taken from you. That is just the bottom line. How the hell, excuse my language, did these two get away with Madeline getting missing? If they were responsible parents and they would have been at the house with Madeline, and that night she would have not disappeared because there would have been somebody there to fight for her life, whether somebody took her or not. And if they did it because she was crying, and the lady said she was crying, so in my opinion, that makes me feel like that Madeline was crying so much that they might have drugged her a little bit, and then because they were doctors, they checked her pulse and realized she didn't have one. They tried to resuscitate her. It didn't work. So they knew that the resuscitation would show up on the autopsy that somebody had been pressing against her chest trying to get her back to life. So they had to hide the evidence. They also had to hide the fact that they put drugs in this little girl's system. Then I look at Kate. Is that her name? Well, Miss McCann. And I'm just disgusted as a parent. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm getting a little angry. I'm just disgusted as a parent at her. You sit in front of these TV shows and you look stressed out, but I can't understand as a mother how you're not crying as much. You can come up with any story you want. Until you're a parent, you don't understand. I would probably be anorexic. You got people out here donating money to these people. And there are other children out here who are missing. You mean to tell me the only evidence they could come up with was evidence against the parents? And the parents are saying that's irrelevant. Why do you need to go to court? To stop someone from talking. If you're not guilty, why do you need to go to court to stop somebody from talking if you didn't do anything wrong? When they say take responsibility, that means if you neglected, did a crime, associated with a crime, take responsibility. Are the McCanns taking responsibility? No, they're just talking, and they're getting away with just talking. When is somebody going to step in and say, hey, you guys, I have to charge you with neglect because we don't have any real leads on where Madeline is? The man who made the machine that can find specific places of where someone could be buried, put Madeline's hairbrush particles into that machine, could not find a trace of Madeline. On top of that, he has found a lot of different people, but he couldn't even find a trace of Madeline. Who the hell had time to do all of this stuff? And why are the friends' stories so different from the mother's? Every time I watch her, I look at her and I see a mother who has done something or a part of something that she doesn't want to be a part of. And it's stressing her out because maybe she's having nightmares about it. Like I told you, this is just a review. Next, Kenneka Jenkins. Kenneka has somebody out here. I'm not going to say who because I don't want drama. I'm not here for drama. But I'm going to say there's somebody on YouTube who is saying they know all about the crazy stuff that happens in Chicago. They know what happened to Zach TV. They know what happened to Zach TV's cousin. They know what happened to the man that boycotted for Kenneka Jenkins. They know what happened to the other man. All of them were shot execution style and pronounced dead. Nobody was actually surviving. These people were killed because they either had too much information or they were doing too much. This is my opinion on what I got out of what he said. If anybody is having an issue with this video. Number 2. He's trying to say that the mother and the sister did not care as much as they seemed to. Now, on that note, I'm not going to get into that because I don't really agree with that. I'm not really agreeing with that. But he's trying to say that Teresa Martin is after money and that she knew that her daughter was set up. Me, I'm trying to figure that out. Like, how would she know that if she was at home fighting her own battle? And her daughter told her she was going to the movies, but she ended up at a party at a hotel. Anyway, that will be reviewed even more because they're saying Monifa has something to do with it. And I'm still trying to put her together with it because I can't. Number 3, Snoop Dogg and Tupac. I know y'all like, how the hell are you talking about them? What do they have to do? A case is a case, honey. Why is it now that they're saying Snoop Dogg came out and implemented Suge Knight in Tupac's murder, saying he had something to do with it? I'm going to leave that for you guys to think about. And this is brand new information. There's actually a statement out right now of him implementing Suge Knight. That's why I wanted to talk about that. I am just on the case. I am always on the case, you guys, even if I'm not around. I did have to bring you this information. I am not done with this information. This is part 1 of this information. Part 2 will be soon. Just on the case.